There are very few games that have left an impact on me. Before playing Cyberpunk 2077, I stuck to the usual brainless games where causing mayhem and chaos were the main goal, but this one made me play games differently. Very few games have dealt with mortality like this one. So, let me share my experience and what did this game left in my mind. It showed me how to deal with my own sense of dread, wanting to be more than myself without losing my own sense of being. This game insisted me to never fade away. Mortality. It refers to the quality of state of being a person or thing that is alive and therefore certain to die. As much as we don't like to talk about death, it's the only thing that we have guaranteed in our life. Some say that knowing that we're going to die one day is a motivator to do better every day. Few mediums deal with that type of themes, especially video games. Cyberpunk 2077's theme of mortality is one that takes time to develop, but when it hits. In the game, V is looking for a way to get rid of this chip in his head that is killing him slowly. All of this because of a heist gone wrong where his best friend Jackie Wells died, and then the guy that recruited him puts a bullet on his head and ends up on a landfill, then being saved by Goro Takemura, or the bodyguards working for the big corporation known as Arasaka. V survives this incident just for Victor, a Ripperdoc and another friend of V's, to tell him that he is slowly dying. To say that V's day went bad is a complete and utter understatement. He lost everything that night of the heist. His friend, his luxury, the people he thought he could trust. A very tragic night indeed. Seeing Jackie die right in front of his eyes was a wake-up call. Jackie's motivation in this story was simple.
Gonna be a legend in this city,
he said to Misty one day. He even got a drink in the famous club The Afterlife. But now, he's gone. And all of his dreams with him. Night City has this way to make you feel worse than what you already are. I've seen this everywhere with advertisements of all sorts, listening to the news, watching people on the streets. Night City is a place where all dreams die. Meanwhile, the rich and powerful that made this tech did it just to become immortal. This is the same tech that is killing me slowly but surely.
Gotta get out of here, understand? And I'll kill anyone who gets in my way, you included.
This construct, this other personality in his head, is based on an experimental tech made by Arasaka called Soul Killer. This is where Johnny Silverhand comes in. Considered a terrorist by some, Night City legend by others, is hostile to you at first, even telling you to put the gun in your mouth and pull the trigger. Why am I telling you all of this? Well, this is the central part of the game. How V and Johnny bond, despite V's unwillingness to give up to Johnny's antics, is really cool to see. They both seem to have a lot in common. They've both been screwed over by the corpos in one way or the other, and are willing to do whatever it takes to make ends meet. They just both want to live. Johnny Silverhand is an interesting character to study. A broken man with a vision of a better world without the corpos messing with the middle and poor classes. He has pushed people away to make ends meet. However, he died, failing to bring down Arasaka, and now he's living in somebody else's body? It's a fate worse than death. When he realizes that he died, it hits him hard. There's a scene where V finds where he died and he's just resting in a pile of rubble. He died all alone, failing to recover his lost love. Then there's a scene that changed everything for me. It was just one sentence that did it.
You know, should call anyone you want to say goodbye to.
As much as an asshole as Johnny can be, and is during his life, he didn't get a chance to say goodbye to his loved ones. He ruined almost every relationship he had before his death, and the fact that he told me to call somebody meant a lot. The evolution of this character is so interesting and significant that when I got to this point, he became my favorite character in the game. This scene alone is so personal. These two grown adult men willing to do whatever it takes to live. V being inspired by his late friend Jackie to be a Night City legend is the thing that drives him the most. While most of the game you do things on your own and you do bad things most of the time, there are a lot of friends that care for him. He gets to experience the dark and gritty of life later on, but after the heist, I saw how other characters got affected by V's condition. How desperate they were to help him out too. This is where I introduce to you Panem, Palmer, and the Aldecaldos, the nomads located in the Badlands. When V meets her for the first time, she's a feisty young woman doing her best to prove herself.
You'll find out.
Oh, fuck no. You will not jerk me around. Tell me where my car is.
V helps her with his own intentions. He just wanted to get some answers about what this construct is, this chip on his head, and how he could get it out. Nevertheless, Panem and V became chums. V helps her out with her problems and even screwing up in some parts, but they were there for each other in their very worst, telling each other that if either one needed help, they're just a call away. Throughout these missions, you see these two connecting and caring for each other and become a couple by the end of it. Back to the roof scene, V has two options. He could call Panem to say goodbye, or just deal with it himself. This was a tough decision for me to make at first, but for the first time in a while, I didn't realize how important this moment was. I didn't even know that she was going to be part of this ending. This is a great example of the do good and it will follow you saying. All of this because of one man's realization of him screwing up his life and pushing people away just to die a lonely and gruesome death. This one sentence has a very deep layer of fear and hope. Johnny knows that V has people that care for him. He saw firsthand what happened to his love, Alt Cunningham, losing her to Arasaka and becoming this emotionless AI. Rogue becoming a sort of a kingpin, feeling guilty and frustrated about Johnny's decision the night he died. Seeing this scene unfold and making the decision made me feel a level of hope that despite how bad things can go, we can always change and do better. Well, what was my decision, you may ask? Well, I called Panem to say goodbye. However, she didn't want V to go at it alone. She says,
Well, I'll say one thing. There's always a way out. Here's what you need to do. You need to take a few deep breaths. Then rethink all this. Hard. And then you can call me back. Do you know why? Because I am here for you.
But...
End of discussion.
Hearing this was a punch to the gut. The level of love and respect that she showed is quite moving. Romance in games are usually made for fan service, and they're very superficial. But in this game, it changes the course of how the story ends. Helping the Aldecaldos was the best decision that I made. Not because they helped V out, but they become family in the end. V could have left as soon as he got what he wanted, but no. Even being near death, he helped Panem out and showed the Aldecaldos that they can trust him. V being part of a family is significant too, considering that he lost everything that night of the heist. This final mission is the most impactful one of them all. Although Johnny doesn't like the idea of getting Panam involved, he trusts V. Taking the pills and heading towards his destiny, he pushes through bullets, explosions, and near-death sequences just to live. This mission is such a roller coaster ride. From using a drill to get inside Mikoshi to watching Saul get killed by Adam Smasher, the man responsible for killing Johnny. In this fight, I decided to avenge him, and it's so satisfying. Oh, so satisfying.
Adam Smasher. I remember you. Promised to kill Silverhand once. Gonna let you in on a little secret. Johnny? He's here with us. Now he can't talk, but I can feel him under my skin.
What the fuck are you talking about?
In the end, got you. Silverhand triumphs.
Anyway, once you get to the objective and get into the system, Alt Cunningham and Johnny tell V that he and Johnny have been separated, but because the chip was still in V's head, he had a chance that he might die. Here, he has another couple of options. Give his body to Johnny, or keep it himself and live as long as he can. And so, Johnny and V say goodbye as V returns to his body.
Goodbye, V. And never stop fighting.
V and Panam make the decision to leave Night City and start anew. Despite everything they've been through, they're still committed to one another and want to restart their lives together and the Aldecaldos, away from the pressures of the city. This game, being on a first-person view, helped to understand the impact of these changes, narratively speaking. Watching V collapse and experience it in that first-person view made me understand the stakes. And at the end of it all, with a new perspective and a lot of newfound hope, V, Panam, and the Aldecaldos get out of the city with a very touching final scene.
Perfect. All great, Pan Am. We're going home.
There's an ending where V decides to take his own life. And when he does, I saw how it affected those who cared for him. It was shocking to say the least, and I'm glad I didn't go down that path. Hearing these characters deal with V's decision in different ways got me. I was crying a lot. And I was thinking about including it on this video, but I'm not, out of respect. Stories like this is why I love gaming. As someone who sometimes feels hopeless and alone, I see this and it brings me hope. How to make these connections and not to take them for granted is the best way to live. There are people around us that care, and we should not push them away like Johnny did. I embrace the fact that I might die one day, but I will do whatever it takes to make myself known and love everybody around me despite my faults and mistakes. At the end of the road, I can only hope to keep moving forward and hope for the best. For the Arasakas, and everybody with the power and money to do it, death is not the end. They can easily put their consciousness on the soul killer system and get a new body. They take death for granted because they also took life for granted. They already have everything: money, influence, power. V has none of that. Yeah, he can replace any part of his body, but he can't replace death. So watching him come to terms with his own mortality and giving himself a chance to live his life on his own terms gives me comfort. Getting a chance to be part of something bigger than himself, a chance to love, a chance to give himself a second chance and honor what Jackie stood for. This game made me give a damn about my life, and it's something that I took for granted for a very long time. While others may think that this is just a game, it changed the way that I get to see life. It made me play games differently too. It showed me that every action that I made would affect others around me. So my message for you is this: live every moment that life brings to you. Give yourself that chance to love, laugh, and be the best version of yourself every day. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you watched all the way through over here, I really appreciate it. This video took a lot longer than I thought it would. Between being distracted with like new games like Monster Hunter Wilds and, you know, between a lot of technical problems I had, I'm finally able to do this and I'm really happy with the results. I hope that you guys like it. That's for sure. Comment about what you think about this game. If you played it when it came out or when they released the updates, that would be really cool to see your experience with it. Thank you very much for being here. I'll see you in the next one.